in this lecture, we would start with the expected questions related to security in India. So, international and national security would be the key focus. Note, this is the 11th lecture in the series of 20 lectures that we would be covering for expected topics. So, you can just check the other lectures for more information. And note that we would be taking only the major topics, the detailed content and the more comprehensive coverage either would be available. You can just check the handouts which are available on Examrace for more information, or you can cover those topics as per your discretion. But these topics are definitely important for your upcoming prelims as well as for your mains. So let's begin with the very first one today, and that is terrorism in Jammu Kashmir. Now this is a graph which actually which actually shows the amount of forces and fatalities which have taken place in the regions of Jammu Kashmir. Now, what were some of the major reasons associated to it, and the reasons associated to the ongoing terrorism have been mentioned. Now, again, note this is a very, very important topic for your mains, because this is a topic where answer writing questions could be developed very basically. So, this is a topic which is more pronounced or more inclined towards your mains preparation. The next topic that we have is the National Security Council Secretariat. So, government appointed an additional National Security Advisor to NSCS, and this is a very, very important development because previously this position was vacant. This appointment would help in managing the national security affairs and better the operational efficiencies, we could say. So this council actually has three important components: the National Security Advisory Board, Joint Intelligence Committee, and Strategic Policy Groups. And this was established in 1990s as a secretariat to the National Security Council. The advisor is one of the major roles that it provides, and then the additional NSA or security advisors have existed. However, these positions have remained unfilled until now. Now, as we said, who are the key components? There are three deputy advisory security advisors who have been selected from various services, including foreign services, police, or armed services. There is a coordinating ring, which basically is the military advisor. There is a National Maritime Security Coordinator for the Coast Guard and the coastal activities. The business rules have been revised to understand the security advisors and the Security Council Secretariat and the scope for the same. The appointments have been really important, and the functions, which mainly is a coordinated allocation for protecting and advancing the national security, having a three-tiered organization for strategic policy groups, which is actually headed by the National Security Advisor and has members as Vice Chairman of Niti Aayog, Cabinet Secretary, and others. The next is the security of Indian dignitaries. So the recent assassination attempt on the former US President during the public rally was one of the reasons, that is the Trump's attack was one of the reasons that this issue has been brought into account. So security has been granted based on the threat perception, and that is one of the major responsibilities of the union and the state government. So close protection, gathering intelligence, clearing the routes, sanitizing the venues, and managing the crowd has been some of the major ideas. So the Home Affairs has identified two books, Blue Book and Yellow Book. Blue Book talks about the protocol for President, Vice President, and Prime Minister. The Yellow Book talks about the security arrangement for all other individual government agencies and the important positions at government. So the central security agencies basically assess the threat, and this ranges from Z+, which is the highest, to X, which is the lowest. Private citizens can also receive protection sometimes for a fee that they could be charged. So Prime Minister has a security special protection group which was established in 1988 SPG Act, and works as proximate security. Now, proximate security is the protection during travel either by road, rail, or air, and at the locations such as the events, residences, or stopovers. Now, this security arrangement has been very, very important and is related directly to the central agency. The next is the 25 years of India's nuclear doctrine. Now, nuclear doctrine defines the approach to nuclear weapons, the deterrence, and the stability. So India has held its first no-use policy credible minimum deterrence, retaliatory capability, the nuclear triad, non-weaponization in space, command and control and structure, and regional and global disarmament. So there is, let's say in case of attack, India talks about the massive retaliatory strike, which is mutually assured destruction. Additionally, India also has a policy of no use of nuclear weapons against non-nuclear weapon states. So, committed to its disarmament policy, India works forward for a non-discriminatory nuclear weapon-free world. Now, there are two important components under Nuclear Command Authority, the political and the executive council. The role of the executive council is important because it helps in decision making and implementation. The existing nuclear doctrine must be enhanced. There are various negotiations for fissile material cutoff treaties. Then there are tactical nuclear weapons which can be used for a full-scale war. There is deepening ties between China, Pakistan and Russia, and therefore India's nuclear doctrine should hold a strong position, right? The next is drones and internal security. So CRPF have talked about anti-drone systems in Manipur, and that is to tackle any unauthorized drones entering into the area, and this has actually been seen in various ways because it has been believed that drones could be weaponized. There could be cross-border smuggling and trafficking. Critical infrastructure could be disrupted, privacy concerns, and swarms of drones being brought into the region. So the role of drones, as we know, is very, very important. Specifically, when it talks about border security, surveillance, reconnaissance abilities, the challenging terrain where human deployment is not possible, drones help in a lot of ways. Also for precision targeting and surgical strikes, drones have been used. The next is Financial Action Task Force. Now, FATF has praised the India's initiative to combat the illegal financial activities, which is mainly terrorist financing or money laundering. And there was a recent report, Anti-Money Laundering and Counter-Terrorist Financial Measures, where we talk about substantial progresses in the implementation of these. Now again, the task force was established in 1989 and talks about protecting the financial systems and the economy from money laundering, terrorist financing, and bringing in better financial security. The next that we would understand here is another important topic, which is the role of AI and defense. So the Evaluating Trustworthy Artificial Intelligence Framework has introduced the basic guidelines for risk-based management and integrating the emerging technologies into defense systems. So use of AI into defense, specifically in the fields of cybersecurity, weaponry, for better simulation and training, for predictive analysis and logistics. This AI can be used, and it focuses on C2, which is command and control operations. Also, AI has been used in various ways. So we talk about examples of Israel Harpy and Harop drones, which can automatically detect and destroy enemy radars and military assets. There are various AI modules which have been used under Project Maven, which is a US initiative talking about surveillance data. Similarly, C4ISR system talks about crime prediction and threat analysis and has been exemplified under the Anant, which is Advisory Network Analysis Tool. So cybersecurity and development becomes important. The next is India's Coast Guard. Now, India's Coast Guard was established to protect the Indian coastline since 1978, and it actually focuses on enforcing the rules at the maritime, in the border, for search and rescue, for pollution response and security in the region. So these are some of the major functions of the Coast Guard. The contribution of the Coast Guard has been immense in even the marine resources like fish, oil, to curb any kind of smuggling within the country, maintain the ecological balance, and there have been ways to enhance the capability of the Coast Guards by various maritime exercises like SAREX and Sagar Kavach. Similarly, the works have been important in terms of Sagar, which is security and growth for all in the region, and it provides better maritime overview, right? The next is IT disruptions. Now, worldwide, we had seen a configuration update from CrowdStrike, and this impacted the Microsoft Windows system. Now, this was one of the factors that led to a sudden disruption in the internet services in healthcare, banking, airlines. Later on, even NBFCs talked about minor disruptions. So, there could be various issues which we could say have been attributed to these disruptions. They can be in the form of cyber attack, if there is a failure of the hardware, software bug, network issue, sometimes human errors can exist. If power is not proper, there can be a natural disaster which can lead to disruption of the services or overload of the system. But these IT outages have to be prevented because this would disrupt the system very badly. For example, there was an IT outage in the healthcare sector in 2017 where WannaCry ransom attacked the UK hospitals, which led to cancellation of nearly 19,000 appointments in UK. Similarly, we have seen in the issues in the deployment in 2020 cybersecurity breach at Kundalkulam nuclear power plant. So again, these kind of issues can be very, very dangerous. The next is urban Naxalism. So Maharashtra government has talked about a Maharashtra Special Public Security Bill, and that actually addresses the threat of Naxalism in urban areas. Now this initiative has been brought into other states as well, for example Chhattisgarh, Telangana, to check the growing Naxalite movements. And Maharashtra Special Public Security Bill talks about promoting and advocating disobedience to the laws, permitting the declaration to the organizations as unlawful. So Naxalism is basically a left-wing extremist which reject democracy and democratic processes and want to overthrow the state through the violent methods. Now the origin can be traced back to 67 Naxalbari movement in West Bengal. There is no official definition of what we call as urban Naxalism, but there are presence of Naxalite groups and Maoist activities in the urban areas. So safe housing and safe residences for people is important. The next is SABEX. Now the army has certified 3 explosive, SABEX 2, SITBEX 1 and SIMEX 4, and they have been developed by Economic Explosive Limited, which is a subsidiary of Solar Industry under Make in India. Now SABEX 2 is a formulation which is most potent non-nuclear explosive, which is 2 times lethal than TNT by using high melting explosives. SITBEX 1 is a thermobaric explosive which can have an extended blast duration with more heat. SIMEX 4 is safer than the conventional explosive in terms of storage and transport, but these underway have seen rigorous deployment in the Navy. So these are considered as lethal weapons. And then you have HIMEX, which is an explosive warhead of BrahMos, nearly 1.5 times the TNT equivalent. Now these 3 and their categorization we have already talked about in brief, very, very important for your examination. The next is Rudram 1. So Rudram 1 is the India's successfully test-fired first indigenous anti-radiation missile system developed by DRDO and IFA. And this is an air-to-surface missile which is integrated with Sukhoi and uses inertial navigation systems for precise targeting. So the capabilities under Rudram is important. So for precision guidance, for anti-radiation capability, versatile launch platform, high precision, all-weather capabilities, indigenous development, it's important. The next is Zorwar tank. Now DRDO has talked about the prototype of India's indigenous light tank, which is known as Zorawar. Now Zorawar is one of the tanks which have been developed in collaboration with L&T, which is one of the private companies, and Zorawar tank is named after General Zorawar Singh, known for his military works. Now this tank has AI capability and integrated surveillance drone systems. The next is Rumi 1. Rumi 1 is the first reusable hybrid rocket from India. It was launched from Thiruvidhanai in Chennai, and this has been developed by a startup Space Zone India, very very important, in collaboration with Martin Group. Now this can carry a payload of 3 cube satellites and 50 pico satellites to a sub-orbital trajectory. The cube satellites are small nano satellites between 1 to 10 kg. Pico satellites are smaller, between 0.1 to 1 kg. So 50 pico and 3 cube satellites can be deployed using Rumi-1, which is the first reusable hybrid rocket system, and would be useful for agriculture monitoring, water resource, disaster management, climate change and sustainable development. The next is the blueprint for action under the REAM, which is Responsible AI for Military Domain. This summit was held in Seoul in South Korea. There was a non-binding blueprint for action. The idea was to have responsible use of AI in military, and it actually established its first summit in 2023, engaging all the stakeholders for the same purpose, for innovation, better military capability, setting up international norms and cyber securities. The next is Operation Chakra. Operation Chakra has been in its third phase in collaboration with FBI from US, and it talks about cybercrime network which is supported by virtual assistants and Boolean. So dismantling that has become possible. Now this Operation Chakra has its various components by using international signaling, maritime strategies, operational surprises, and its readiness and nuclear deterrence. Interpol has been one of the major organizations working for it. INS Arighat. Now this is Indian Navy submarine submersible ballistic nuclear submarine along with INS Arihant, and it is of the class of Arihant, which has been constructed indigenously under the Advanced Technological Vessel. Now Arihant is the India's first indigenous nuclear submarine under the project, which was commissioned in 2016, then later on launched a submarine launch ballistic missile in 2022. So INS Arighat is really important. The developments under Arighat can be possibly asked in your examination. The next is VLSR-SAM. Now this is a vertical launch short range surface to air missile. The test took place at Chandipur, Odisha, and the launch is based on the vertical land based vertical launcher at a high speed aerial target, which is actually flying at a low height. So the key characteristics of VLSR-SAM is important, and the features that it is indigenously developed radio frequency seeker is one of the major features of it. The next is global network. So we have GLOBE, that is the Global Operational Network for Anti-Corruption Law Enforcement Agencies, and this session was conducted at Beijing, talking about global interconnectivity, technology, security, human disaster response and humanitarian efforts. The next is non-kinetic hybrid warfare. Now that is, as the name suggests, it is hybrid in nature, so it combines the traditional military and the modern cyber warfare, information manipulation as some of the major threats, and can have an emerging challenge for the countries. The next is DefConnect 4.0. Now this was organized by IDEX IDO under Ministry of Defense. Idea is to promote defense innovation. Also we have the addition of Aditi 2.0, which is acing developments for innovative technologies with IDEX, and it features on quantum technology, military, AI, anti-drone systems and camouflage, unmanned vehicles, and focusing on SMMEs for development, right? So these are some of the important developments that we have covered in this 11th lecture. In the next lecture again, we'll be focusing on some other security issues. Stay tuned. Thanks for joining in.